and sort of added to this, like,
And
I
the
guess
eye
you could
patch.
say, similar to what Hattori has. It's like a white,
He doesn't care about the eye patch, don't he? Her eyes are up there, man. What are you doing?
as you can see, like some accents and stuff like
If he doesn't talk about the eye patch, brother.
I think it's probably overall better, even if we do lose a little bit of this.
What about the eye patch?
Even though we might not. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, you can see this white strap.
I wouldn't be surprised if he comments, wait, there was an eye patch? I feel like recently in the NTE community, there's one conversation that has been quite interesting to witness and quite the back and forth, little bit of friction from time to time. It definitely is the Shinku conversation. Shinku has hit the game, and a lot of us expected her to be the next best thing, but to our surprise, it turns out it's not necessarily the case, because I'm hearing you need dupes for her gameplay to be smoother and for her to get her stacks faster, so that way she can actually be the DPS we all thought she was going to be. Now, I'll be totally honest. I think characters being skippable is a decent thing in the sense of meta viability. You know, when a character, like most characters look good, all right? Let's call it for what it is. But meta viability is definitely a huge checkbox a unit must check for players to be more incentivized to want to pull. And the FOMO increases drastically because you need that character for it will bring you a lot more value to your account, which you need that to tackle the new end game content that they're going to be updating as time goes on, as you wait for that next rerun. The best example I can give is definitely something like Kazuha back in the day in Genshin Impact. I don't know for some of you guys that you were around, but Genshin Impact back in the day, Kazuha came out and it took them a whole year. I lied to you, I'm not. A whole year for what turned out to be the most valuable unit in the game to rerun. We were going crazy. Everybody that didn't have Kazuha, I didn't have it because I was dumb enough to listen to people. I thought he was cool. I just wanted to get him because he was cool, but also we had to skip him because we had to guarantee Ayaka, and we all wanted Ayaka at the time, and people were just saying, oh, he's just like Sucrose. Like, if you have Sucrose, you don't need him. And truth be told, you didn't necessarily need him because Genshin Impact's endgame content was relatively easy, but the fact is, it was quite the unit because the checkbox of utility and how powerful he is was so massive that even if you didn't necessarily like the aesthetics and everything else about the character, he was that good that you wanted him. You needed him in your account. He will make your post-game content a lot easier. So that's just an example, obviously an exaggerated one, but you can see the importance of power and efficiency and the value added to your account through a unit, how important that is to players. It's very important. And Shinku seems to not have that. However, she is definitely great looking. She's supposed to be a dragon lady. That's my stuff right there. However, considering the lack of power, I'm not as incentivized. This is the type of character I will get, like if I would get him early, because I did try to get him, I just couldn't get her. Well, tough luck. I'm willing to pay 30 to 40 pulls. I'm not willing to pay 80 for this. Considering the value suggestion, it's still good looking enough that I want to try. I want it. I tried, but it just didn't click. So yeah, I think that's the type of character we have in our hands. She's clearly waifu bait, hands down. If no one says it before, I said it before and I'll say it again. She's clearly waifu bait. And due to that, I think why they went the route of testing. I feel like there's also some testing from the developers of how far they can take players to take advantage of the non-50-50 system and waifu baiting. You know what I mean? Because there's no 50-50, you're more inclined to spend. And also, well, she's the waifu. And if you get her copies, she's the best DPS. So give it a shot. So I think that's just my tinfoil hat theory as to why Shinku is different than the rest of the cast. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to not miss any updates.
I guess I better go subscribe to VXB Gotcha.
So I've seen this video here. It is from our man Pancake Breakfast. Is the Shinku drama valid? And apparently Zanko got her model changed, I think from the villain to her, which tells me, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a positive change, which tells me that the devs are looking into polishing the game even more, which is something that's always welcome to me personally. So without further ado, let's hear what spreadsheeters have to say about the entire conversation.
All right, so Shinku's been out for a few days now, and people have mixed feelings about her performance. So,
oh man, like, when you see her under chiz here at A3, oh man, that's that hurts, don't it?
people feel like she's totally fine. Some people feel
The
like
reality is we all wanted her to be good because she is the waifu. We all know it. We all know it. Like, look, if she was any less attractive, we would not give a shit. We all must admit that. We care. This conversation is a topic because Shinku is hot, and we all know it. You just don't want to admit it.
Like she's
I'm
even
admitting it.
good. Some people feel like she leaves a little bit to be desired. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today, as well as that people have mixed feelings about her performance. Some people feel like she's totally fine. Some people feel like she's even good. Some people feel like she leaves a little bit to be desired. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today, as well as the new reveals that we got, which have put a little bit of fuel to this fire because they're a bit distracting from the current characters that we have on banner in this current patch. But are those concerns even?
Oh yeah, there was a model change. I can see it right here. You can see it right off the bat. Yeah, see that? I think she's wearing a little something in front, but in this one they just removed it completely. Yeah, they're just going for a Goonie, They really want to cash in on this character, and they will. The reality is she also strikes us as a DPS, an incantation one as well. A good breath of fresh air, to be honest with you. We'll take it and run. And I think it's good. It's good because the reality is if she's a DPS and she's strong, she's also waifu bait. And if she's simple, without copies, yeah, Shinku just dies. It just dies completely. It really does. But we'll see.
We have on banner in this current patch. But are those
could be a
concerns
sub DPS,
even
who knows?
valid?
I wouldn't
Let's get
mind
into this thing. The other day I posted a video going over her tier list placement and everything going on with that. If you wanted to go into full details on that, I'll put a link to that in the description. But basically, she landed here at tier 0.5, and some people feel like that's not good enough.
Now, I heard that apparently the Pridlin put the eye here because they still want to put her in a watch list because she still doesn't have her best support, which is Eroi. I think it was her name, the new Animo character, the wind character, which will enable her kit even more. But the same can be applied to all the rest of the cast. I mean, do you think Chiz is not going to appreciate Eero? You think Chaos is not going to appreciate Eero? Everybody and their mama is going to appreciate Eero. Eero is obviously set up to be the support right now. She is the support. And she also heals. None of the characters heal. That's very important.
I feel like that's not good enough. Now, it needs to be noted, this was with the watch list tag, so she could be moving up, especially if Italy comes out and ends up being a tier 0 support that ends up being like synergetic with her. That alone in itself could end up bringing her up. Plus,
yeah, it depends on how Eroi synergizes with something like Chiz. If she doesn't synergize with Chiz as well as she does with Shinku, Shinku's stocks will go up. However, this means that Shinku becomes even more pricey. Then again, considering the roster, you really want Eero. I think Eero is by far the most non-skippable unit in the game.
Alone in itself could end up bringing her up. Plus, they made this tier 0.5 placement without actually taking a look at the buffs because they were able to look at it on CN. And obviously, we got a new update that has like kind of basically like a buff version of her out right now. It's not like a crazy amount, but it's definitely something to take note.
So they didn't do their homework fully. Well, if it wasn't enough, maybe they did, and it wasn't enough. I don't know.
But last night, I posted a video of a solo clear using Shinku at level 70.
How do you do that? How good are you at this game?
And she was able to do it in 1 minute and like 50, I think 3 seconds or something like that. That's pretty darn good. And it could have even been faster. But, this boss enemy, he kind of he griefs you a little bit here. Both of those videos are in the description if you wanted to go take a look at those. But my point here is that just because a character lands at tier 0.5 doesn't mean that they're necessarily not that good. It also isn't.
We all know they're not bad. It's just that obviously they're not as good as other existing units, especially a free one like Chiz. Like when we look at how much I must spend and the value proposition, it's just not there. It's just that. Like if you like Shinku, obviously go on right ahead, man. If you're someone like in the middle like myself, you're baited by the waifuism. You want to try, but you didn't get her. Go ahead and get her. That's fine. Try, give it a shot. Like I'll spend my 30 and 40 pulls. But beyond that, like the more pragmatic you are, the more strategic you are in your approach when it comes to your account structure. The reality is tough. Like I can't just sell myself easily on just getting Shinku, guaranteeing her because of the value proposition.
Important to note that this is kind of like a temporary tier 0.5 that has been given to Shinku. This is something that's probably going to change. Temporary tier 0.5 that has been given to Shinku. This is something that's probably going to change, and they might not update it until Irui comes out. So this entire time between then and now, she actually might even be performing similar to a tier 0 to a tier 0, I should say. Don't forget that she did get those slight adjustments when she actually released on global. And real quick, I do want to point out that I put up a poll here, and YouTube polls are limited, so I was only able to like actually poll so much here. But Shinku seems like she's doing fine. The fact that people are still even saying that they're going to be pulling for her, even though she's been out for 3 days, that I think that's pretty good standings here. I think it shows that people are still very, very happy with Shinku, her performance, and happy to pull her, etc., etc. It does show there's a lot of hype around the new character.
Also, we have to admit that it's cheap to get characters in this game. That's very important. It's like why the hell not? I can do it if I want to. It's fine, especially if you don't feel like you don't like Chiz, for example. I don't like Chiz the most too, personally. If you happen to be someone like myself, I don't know about Chiz. All that, all those numbers and stuff. I get confused. When you compare that to like a literal dragon, the choice is kind of obvious, but still, what I mean, I don't know. It's like the bowls are expensive, boy.
As well, of course, Iroi, not as many votes for
To
Iroi
me, because I'm free to play.
as I was expecting, but I
Plus.
totally get it. They're between these two powerhouses. So anyways, I just wanted to give you guys some of this information. This poll hasn't been up for a super duper long time, but the results haven't been changing over the time that I've been putting it up. And it should also be noted that if we can actually clear the end game with solo A rank units like Mint, I think Shinku is going to be totally fine, right? Even if she landed as like a tier 1 or something like that, she's doing okay.
I see what he's trying to say here. I'm not gonna be. I don't want to be a dick here, but these are kind of non-arguments because, see, every character can do this because the post game is technically easy if you have the skills. Like these games are relatively easy, all in all right? Like all these gotchas are technically easy. They have certain difficulty ceilings, but all in all, they are in the realm of the mainstream gaming community. To them, we're in the easy realm when it comes to the gotcha games, post-game hard content. Holograms can be, a little more challenging, but for example, Withering Waves. But all in all, the post-game content, because it has premium currency withheld in it, a very important amount of it, is relatively easy to clear. So this doesn't necessarily negate the value proposition of Shinku, which is the big reason why people are choosing to skip. We wouldn't mind getting her early, that's for sure. You know what I'm saying? So why not? But it's just not clicking. And this argument
There's
doesn't
no
really do it.
reason why anyone should feel bad or like should be put down or something like that for pulling this character whatsoever. However,
No, wait. See, here's the thing. People should just calm the hell down when it comes to shitting on other people's choices and preferences. If someone like Shinku, just let them enjoy their Shinku. What the hell, baby? However, if they come at you and go, okay, I want to make my account as good as possible. What do we suggest? I got this character. I got this character. What do you think? You're going to have to tell them, yeah, maybe this character wasn't the best idea. For example, pointing at Shinku. Yeah, sure. In a conversation like that, sure. However, if it's just someone having, they liked it, they pulled it, whatever, they're just trying to make it work, help them make it work. Don't tell them, oh, well, you just made a mistake. You know what I mean? Be helpful.
I do want to point out that in the comments of the video where I was going over the tier list, plenty of players were experiencing
And context of the conversations are clearly important is what I'm trying to say.
according to them, like some minor bugs with her in certain environments where like because of her old state, she might fall off the stage or something like that, where they felt like her performance was just a little bit worse than they were expecting based on the promo that she was getting and such, right? Some people even feel like she needs to get buffed again, right? So I do want to take note of that. It is
I wouldn't say it's the buff. It's obviously going to be bug fixes. We just need smoother gameplay even at A0. That's what's scaring me a lot about her, to be honest.
valid that if they promoted her this much, then they kind of like, it gives this air of like the character's probably going to be a very pushed, very, very special unit. That's usually what happens in these gacha games. But it's also important to note that that is not some kind of a guarantee or anything like that. And the little information we get from the CN, server before it actually goes live on global, and obviously the beta and whatnot, that's obviously limited, and there could be changes like what we've gotten here. And obviously it's very like short notice information. We don't have a ton of time with the character before it's fully released on global. Just stuff to think about here. And when this character releases as a tier 0.5,
could she be the new Zhongli? Could she be the new Zhongli? Because here's the thing. If people complain more, she might get even more buffs. If people stop complaining and go, well, if you like her, kind of like what I'm doing right now, if you like her, just have fun with it. Like she's just supposed to be waifu bait. They're trying something, they're testing some stuff on how the player base will react to certain predatory practices. We're giving reason as to what's happening before us. Now, then again, Zhongli was in a very, very worse position than Shinku. Shinku is still at least up there. Like Zhongli was terrible. I mean, that could happen. you never know. Maybe a small rework of the kit. I'm just saying.
Some people kind of freak out because it's not literally a top tier, but I want you guys to understand that, again, displacement is only temporary. She could go up. And also, is tier 0.5 even a problem in a game like Neverness to Everness? It realistically isn't.
No.
This is the most like waifu or husband.
But people like to get the most out of their buck. See, if I'm spending anyway, I have to spend 70 pulls on every single character. Well, I'm obviously going to spend it on the character that's going to give me the most amount of value, because that's just a smart thing to do.
Bondo over meta type of game out of like the bigger gacha games that we have right now. This is genuinely the most I don't care what the meta says, I can do whatever the heck I want kind of game. We look at these tier lists and we look at information like this, and like we obviously put in our input to the devs and whatnot, so that certain
reminds me of
adjustments
back in the day,
can be
Genshin
made if they're
Impact.
valid and necessary. Of course, that's not what we're saying here, but it is important to note that like you don't really have to struggle too much in this game. This is definitely one of those moments where I think people might be jumping the gun just a little bit here. It's not like this became like some super insane drama or anything like that, but it is definitely a noteworthy thing to, I think, discuss. But I think that people might be a little bit misconstrued with her actual performance or maybe how she works. She does want to be on a charge team, and she wants to perform.
I think the reason why this is happening and why this conversation is taking a little bit of a, let's just say, heated argumentation is because people like to, when they make a decision, they like to see everybody else making the same decision as they are, because it means that, well, it means I did the right choice. Because you get validation, which is very important to people, especially after they made a decision. It's very important. So that way they can always look at everybody doing the same decision as they did, which means I made the right decision. If I see someone doing something different, and also I have a small incentive to want to do the thing they had, because I always have to keep convincing myself that the decision I made is the right decision. Don't look back. So that way you move on from it and you keep it going. But because you realize you have a small bias of wanting to get the thing that you didn't get, that you decided not to get. So when new information come in, you start to have some degree of FOMO, and that's bad. You keep questioning yourself. It's annoying. I think you. I'm not sure if I'm expressing it the best, but I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And because of that, people are going to be a little, let's just say, aggressive and very argumentative. So here's the thing: when you hold a mirror to someone, or you hold, let's just say, something different to what their values are, if they're not flexible in their mind, if they're not, let's just say, open to the other side of the coin, someone with a different perspective, with different tastes, maybe they can be very rigid. They can, if they're rigid, can make them very argumentative and sometimes low-key hostile towards people that are just over there, just slightly doing things differently than they are. And the reason, the origin of that is obviously because people want to have the confirmation bias, so that way they know for a fact that what they're doing is the best thing they can do. It enables them to move through life a lot easier, because you can just shut down the noise of something different or the opposition, what have you. And this type of aggression only stems from rigid individuals, and I feel like as long as we understand that, we can definitely navigate it somewhat properly, and maybe invite them to have more of an open mind. Not necessarily want to convince them otherwise, but at least have an open mind and have a well-mannered conversation as we go on. Because I feel like this type of conversation is fine to have. It's just that the hostility within it makes people lose aura. It's weird.
Form like kind of a specific rotation, or like somewhat of a restricted rotation, and people might not necessarily be utilizing that, which is why they might feel like she's not performing as well as she should be. For example, when I was doing my solo clear, keep in mind she doesn't work properly in solo content, but also keep in mind she was still a beast and cleared that with ease, and isn't really necessarily all that far behind any of these other like premium DPSs that
low-key, I think that's just a compliment to him more than the character himself. I'm just saying.
Came out. But to be real, the most important thing isn't what I think, it isn't what the community thinks, it's how you feel or how you want to experience the game.
Exactly.
Right? So if you feel
I'm more casual, like my skill issues are high, Shinku and I are just not gonna click well.
like Shinku isn't performing like you feel like she should be, I do implore you to try to maybe like figure out her kit properly, put her on a good team with the right things that she needs or
she reminds me of Zani in Wuthering Waves
wants, before you kind of like jump the gun and make a kind of like a harsh or rash decision saying she's like bad or something like that. She's not.
The Dragon Knight skin being paid for is criminal. I want to suit him.
Bad. Like maybe
I thought you
go
could just
ahead
get
and
it in
say,
this
she's
game
not what I
mode.
expected,
Turns out
or
you
even
have
go
to
ahead
buy
and say
it.
mid to be funny. That's totally valid,
That
right?
sucks.
But if after that you still feel like she doesn't have the chops, yeah, you're valid, bro. Like, you don't gotta be out there like getting no skin for the character if you don't feel like their character's performing like you want them to. You don't gotta be out there going for like the weapon or like for awakenings or anything like that if you feel like the character's not really up to what you wanted them to be.
Well, that's kind of the issue. You want awakenings for the character to be what you wanted them to be. Because what a lot of people complain about is how smooth it is. She's not a smooth criminal. And because of that, I've personally been deterred from that because of that. I like smooth characters. I like for them to feel easier to play. That's very important to me.
And it's totally valid to get
Jesus Christ.
distracted after new information comes out. It is only a couple days.
Oh yeah, it definitely made it a lot easier to just skip Shinku in terms of waifu baiting, because it was kind of fun. I kind of find it interesting how they went about the marketing for Shinku. They know that day one is typically where players that are already sold in the idea are gonna pull anyway. And so what they did is like they waited for like the first 2-3 days on release for global, and they just announced it. Just announced Zinko that she mogs her in terms of waifu baiting, depending on taste, of course. But I think I speak for the majority of guys specifically. You know, the new girl mogs Shinku easily in terms of waifu. Let's just say how good she looks and stuff. And I'm surprised they just shot their own product in the feet like that. But technically, it's still kind of smart in the way they went about it. It's just maybe they could have let it breathe a little more. I don't know. But anyway, I was at least right when it comes to you can always just skip waifu bait characters because, well, they're a dime a dozen. There will always be the next one.
After new information comes out, it is only a couple days or so after her release. So if something else caught your eye, just go for it, bro, if that's what you want.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Jesus, look at this. When I saw...
And here's the thing. We still don't know who else is going to be with her. Unless she's going to be just her. And if that is the case, oh my God, W.
This is
I could use
screenshots
a little
that I
break
took from the game from like 1.0. When I saw this character in the game, I immediately knew that I wanted them, right?
We all did. That was like Senora. But Genshin didn't give us Senora. These guys did.
Now, the moment I realized they were a villain, I got a little bit worried we weren't going to ever get them in the game. I don't know if you've noticed, by the way, but their design slightly changed here. We'll go over that in just a sec here. But I mean, bruh, there's very, very valid reasons. What the heck how is that? It's just hanging off of there. Look at the hang time, the air time we got in here, right? Look, there's a little bit of the undercarriage going on too. We don't get that, I don't think, anymore, by the way, in the new version. But yeah.
Well, that is a little too much. I mean, Hathor has it a little bit. This is a little too exaggerated, but we still don't know if she's going to have under booba or not. We'll see.
Super valid to see this and know it's coming and then jump ship and change your mind. It's your play.
And also she doesn't have an eye patch, which tells me this could be a transformation when she's in villain mode. And when she's friendly, she's, in that form. I think that's going to be the explanation. Easy.
Play through. It is your game. Play it how you want. Pull who you want. This is 7 million times, like 7,000 times valid, bro. Like a million times over. I mean, check this out, right? Like, and by the way, aesthetic.
She has those flowers too. It's like she's from the Black Shores.
I think this is an improvement. Some might disagree with that. Let's go ahead and go over the change that actually happened here. This front necklace kind of thing that is like sort of draped over the front hanging off of her. I don't know if this was an intended thing or not, or if this was just a last minute change or whatever, but there wasn't actually a lot going on in this piece of fabric in the front anyway. So I can see why maybe they made the change. If you look at the side view here, which this is a crime against humanity, or that we could be losing this. But the undercarriage here with the abs and you see all that, and like just the hang time. This was like a work of art going on over here. But as you can see, this front portion here has basically been like taken off of this and sort of added to this, like I guess you could say similar to what Hattori has. It's like a white.
He doesn't care about the eye patch, don't he? Her eyes are up there, man. What are you doing? He's just been focused on that for like 2 minutes now. Her eyes are up there.
Leotard thing going on underneath. And it's been sort of added to that. And then, as you can see, like some accents and stuff.
If he doesn't talk about the eye patch, brother.
That put into it. So the front piece is kind of like taken off and then integrated into the sort of body piece that she had, and even drapes over the front and even the back now. I'm sure we're going to get a similar side view thing going on here still. It's maybe not quite the same as we had going on. Obviously, I'm being a little bit extra gooner just for the sake of it, but obviously, if that mole's hold on, is that mole there? I'm being silly here now.
I know, we can tell.
Oh dang, that was hidden before? Crazy. Anyways, What do you think of the new design change? I think it's probably overall better, even if we do lose a little bit of this.
What about the eye patch?
Even though we might not. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, you can see this white strap
I wouldn't be surprised if he comments, wait, there was an eye patch?
goes over the front, and then you actually can't see the undercarriage in this view, technically. So we could be getting a little bit of surprise. We may have not lost that. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think about this whole
He
situation.
didn't talk about the iPad. God damn, we lost him, boys. We lost him, bro. Man, that brother thirsty, man. That brother hungry. That brother starving. This brother starving, man.
Let me know if you think that the Shinku drama is valid. Everyone jumping ship and whatnot on the character, moving on to a new thing. According to a poll that I put up earlier today, honestly, people seem to be level-headed and not necessarily diving into this whole drama situation. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
But anyways, let me know who you're pulling. Let me know what your thoughts are on the whole situation, if you like the new design or not. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Nice one, nice one. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So yeah, there it is, man. It's just that the value proposition isn't there, and also the waifu baiting getting negated by I think it's called Shinku. No, it's not Shinku. Zanko coming in the future, very soon in the next patch. Kind of. I mean, it made the decision a lot more easier to just skip Shinku and not feel bad for not getting her and be that disappointed with her kit. To be honest with you, I feel like that was a bit of a fix from the devs themselves in the complaint people had towards her kit and her value proposition for one's account. So I think all in all, this is a bit of a W. I mean, the more you look into this, the more you think about it, the more you as a player the more you as a player are fine. Like we're in a good position. I do. I'm just gonna get Eroy. Obviously, she's kind of a must pull. You save the remaining of the pulls from the patch towards Zanko, and you go from there. They haven't announced any second. Oh well, actually they did. There was this weird looking girl, but I don't know. Depending on her support capabilities, we might be pulling or not. We'll see. We'll see. I just remembered her. She was so forgettable. I forgot they even announced her. They did announce the second girl, like she's wearing a backpack and stuff. She's supposed to be this nerd. I don't know. I'm pretty sure she's going to be a good support. We might have to pick her up for value proposition, but we don't know. We'll figure this out. We'll figure it out. But yeah, there it is, man. I think this is a positive thing in how the players are receiving all in all, the Shinku, I think Zanko has played a massive role on how it's just saved the sentiment players have towards Shinku because we can just go, well, you know what, fuck it. Well, in terms of waifu baiting, obviously this waifu mogs this one, so like it's fine. Who cares? And I feel like that was a good fix from the devs. I think it's sneaky, and a lot of people have said it this way, but I think it was applied on purpose. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Be seeing you.